Straighting her back and puffing out her chest must have been exhausting to her. Actually, I had someone knowledgeable telling me you were blend. See, like that, she looks really, really cute. I gave a shrug to Eleanor's playful grin. I sipped my coffee then, but naturally all I could tell was that it was tart and bitter. I could not tell what Susie Woo entailed. You raise investment capital by going on TV? Oh, of course not. Eleanor tittered, took a brush out of her bag and began combing her hair. That is true in a way. What way? Would you like to know? One looked refined. One gave the impression they were looking down on others somehow. A woman like Eleanor had an air about that was once both mischievous and instigative. As someone who was into stocks, I don't think I could pass up the opportunity to speak with a super popular analyst. If you're going to tease me, I won't do it. My apologies. Eleanor giggled when I said that. No, actually, I rather want to tell you if you were interested. As from what I hear, you've not begun investing yet. There was a break in Eleanor's expression, but it was only for a brief moment there, as soon as she was smiling. Eleanor seemed well aware that I wasn't sure if I should still be there. Would you mind listening to what I have to say before telling me your decision? It appeared Eleanor already knew what I was going to say. Is this explaining your division of workplace? There is more working as some super popular analyst in workplace. It was somewhat of an retort, befitting European nobility. Eleanor laughed as she placed her comb back into her bag, but she still seemed somewhat troubled and sighed. Was she that tired? At the same time, I got a feeling Eleanor was focusing her gaze powerfully on a point beyond me as she spoke. Originally, I did it because I enjoyed it. Since my father fell ill, returning to terror, since I began managing Schweitzer and Zelga, or since then. Or since then? You've been an analyst? It's rather different from being an analyst for corporate investment banking, though. Frankly, it's just that I simply adore corporate analysis. I attended analyst team meetings as well, but I didn't particularly enjoy me being there. However, I can imagine. Just so there's something viable to be garnered from such a hobby. I was a manager, despite how things seemed. There have been times where my youth and gender have caused bias. But I've heard from quite a few individuals rather knowledgeable in investment banking that they believe things probably won't go too badly. In the investment sector, those like Chris and Hagana were exceptional regardless of their age. 4 years ago, the only great investors I knew the names of were male. So the analog data in the office room is all of it is... Exactly. Regarding companies or their industry data. What you brought me this here now is a compilation of data I assembled. Will you have a look? I would like to. Please do. Even under 1/6 Terran gravity, when Eleanor passed the file to me, it appeared quite weighty, with raw data accompanied gathered by a super popular analyst. Company date analysis, one of the 3 pillars of stock investment. If you ever had the smallest bit of interest in the fundamentals of investing, you'd probably pay a large sum to be able to see this. Those who actually paid for this assistance from analysts. There are many followers glued to their TVs adamantly listening to these tips. That's all I thought of at first, but then I gasped in that revelation. Is it alright letting someone see this professional analysis for free? Not something petty like that. It wasn't that. The only reason why Chris and the others aren't allowed in the room is because this type of data is lying around. Rested my hand on a file I was about to open and looked over at Eleanor. Can I look at it? Aren't other people not allowed in that room because it's in there? I've seen plenty of yours. Ratzinger Economics Research Centre investing contest log data. Also, it's off limits, as I felt I could not bear the thought of the harm it might cause to others. Harm? Wasn't able to work out the meaning of that. Le Goff has no preconceptions, only following the ethics of investing to conclude there is a certain amount of risk investing. By knowing the state of a company, one's judgment could be clouded. Isn't Chris different? Chris is still working on polishing her investment methodology. However, this data was formulated from my subjective view. She was listening to what I could tell her, and I believe it would cause her confusion. Marco? When I asked, Eleanor gave another small smile. Drinking when young makes it easy for one to become an alcoholic, I'm told. With that, I stopped myself from opening the file. her body leaning by her backrest and eyes closed, as if she could fall asleep at any moment. Yet I could feel unwavering confidence from her slow-spoken words. Why don't you invest yourself? Aren't you famous in an analyst because your investment analysis is correct? I've heard Susie Wu called a wizard. So instead of speaking out in front of others, she could silently do investing herself. Then she'd certainly not need people like me. When I asked, Eleanor laced her delicate fingers together over her lap with her eyes still closed. But it is not my objective. Investing, isn't it? It isn't. Halfway through a nod, Eleanor stopped. As though she'd caught her long hair between her back and her backrest. To say investing isn't my goal is rather misleading. I'm undoubtedly investing, but I'm investing what I own to have greater returns. However, I cannot say that my main goal is to invest in stocks and gain a monetary return. As people's favour, trust and connections could be bought off the lunar surface, to say one was not expecting monetary returns by investing was rather reasonable. But it was certainly true coming from Eleanor, who was Susie Wu herself, raising her voice, as she stood in the centre of a world where money was a law of the land. Then what would... She slowly opened her eyes when I asked. Her eyes were pointed far up, looking past even the aquarium. I suddenly felt like following her gaze. I very much wanted to know exactly what she could be looking at. If I took what I know and invested my own money, and gathered money from others to invest, then that itself wouldn't be all too bad. If I was to use my connection to make use of my publicity, I could certainly pull together a few $100 million in this deranged moon. With assistance from Chris's program, I can foresee even large sums fetching 50 to 60 profitability. But if we did that, we could certainly get something like 10 billion. 50% profit off 10 billion would be 5 billion in earnings. If her cut was 20%, I was a billion moles. 1 billion moles. I couldn't even know what to do with that much money. Yet that wouldn't even come close. She said that with a smile. That amount is a far cry from what I desire. Her far cry seeing eyes focused back on me. A goal that 1 billion moles can't accomplish? Yes. That is. Surprised? She inquired, tilting her head to her side with a smile. She's so elegant, and if I had put a word, it's refined and adorable. I said exactly the same thing when I first saw that picture. Yet there was an incontestable seriousness about her. Quite unbefitting one who would dream to stand on an unexplored world. I reacted as if something could pierce through my heart when I looked over at Eleanor. I felt as if some kind of thick liquid was passing through my sinuses, and my hand moved to my nose automatically. There was no blood, yet I could smell somewhat medicinal odours originating deep in my nostrils. Humans produce adrenaline when agitated. It was said that there was rather medicinal odour to it. From Chris? Risa as well. When I heard Eleanor say that, I felt as though perhaps I'd been mistaken about her. I had thought her goal was to create a vast amount of money with Chris's program. I was just a two-dimensional existence. But here was Eleanor wanting to show me her resources, and that she hadn't even shown them to Chris, and Eleanor was staring off at something exceptional too. Something so exceptional that the look on her face seemed to mirror the look on mine when I had my own dream. 10 billion more is rather unlikely. At 100 billion more, perhaps. However, by raising that much capital, it could be a rather tricky problem to solve with money. Her gaze fell from me, and she looked down as she spoke. Her long eyelashes cast a shadow. She appeared sad even though she was smiling. But I did not know what her words were leading up to. What could she possibly be thinking of that couldn't even be achieved with 100 billion mores? Even Mr. Infallible, the legendary investor who held more in wealth than any other person, and only personal assets of 80 billion. Who knew what that meaning could be with increasing one's fortune more than that? As fortune was only given meaning once it had a use. I do believe, however, that such a vast amount is feasible using Susie Wu's masquerade. It was all very confusing. What was Eleanor trying to accomplish? Eleanor met my gaze and happily smiled as she spoke. Justice. Huh? It's not like I didn't hear her, just so unexpected I'd have to confirm. Realisation of justice. I would get angry looks if someone heard me say that, though. She closed her eyes and quietly laughed again. I recall what the wealthy all do together during a new stage of a game. Charity? Service? That's not it. But her lips curled up sardonically at the sight of my confusion. It's not a charity, it's something more personal. I do believe it's not out of self-interest, though. It's simply something that will represent the realisation of justice. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and straightened her back. I wish to destroy the festering evil on the moon. One's individual power is far too weak. Even if the investment of vast numbers of people is not enough. To uncover evil, many people must see it as evil. So Chris's program lacks the power. I require a much larger force and even more vast amounts of influence. Her face looked upset. Her eyelids felt as if stricken by grief, and her body quivered even as she tried to stick out her chest. That is why I must continue to act as Susie Wu, even if people start considering me a Pied Piper. Then one day, a certain day, justice will be served. For that purpose, I need a strength like yours, Haru. I was so shocked I could only respond faintly to Eleanor's determination. Mine? Yes, a humanistic investing style like yours. Not mathematical, something beyond the numbers, something more realistic, the kind that can read another's thoughts. As Eleanor spoke with her eyes closed and her speech became slower. Finally, with her mouth slightly agape, she stopped. It didn't seem quite the same when she was absorbed, though. I called out her name, still in shock. Miss Eleanor. Huh. She suddenly opened her eyes when I called out to. She then smiled slightly at me in embarrassment and rubbed her eyes with delicate fingers. I couldn't believe it, but it seemed she'd fallen asleep. Not feeling well? No. I had thought it'd be fine a little longer. It seemed like she was going to fall asleep again as she was talking, but she had woken herself up with her head fell back. While she was leaning back, things were clearly not good. Maybe she'd return to your room. But our conversation... Even she spoke, it was as if her eyes was barred shut and refused to open. I'll listen to it later. For now, I think it would be better to return to your room. My apologies. It seemed she couldn't even say she was fine. She searched around for a bag next to her, about to stand, but where was she thinking of going off with her eyes still shut like that? It appeared she couldn't lift her own leg, staggering to grasp a table with one hand, using the other to grab onto the back of a chair. It didn't seem like she was simply trying to balance herself so not to fall over. Rather, it looked like more she'd been blindfolded by the Sandman himself. Unable to stand up completely, she ended up plopping back down. It looked to me as if she was drunk. Her face had gone completely white. She looked just like a porcelain doll. Oh, quarter one. Stay where you are. I couldn't stand this, so I said that as I got up, but an unexpectedly powerful voice beckoned me back as I stopped. I'm fine.